Within an hour, footage of the duel had spread throughout the Concordia station and beyond. Every species in the coalition was watching the 97-second match that had changed everything. Analysts played the recording frame by frame, trying to understand what they had witnessed. Military officials called emergency meetings. Scientists checked their data again and again, certain there must be an error. Admiral Kevris, the senior Veltharan officer on the station, watched the replay for the 5th time in his private office. Each viewing made him more uncomfortable. He called his staff together, along with human representatives and coalition leadership. The conference room was designed for multiple species. The table had sections at different heights, and the atmosphere controls could adjust for various breathing requirements. Admiral Kevris sat at the head of the table, his forearms folded in a gesture of serious contemplation. "Let us speak plainly," Kevris began. "What we witnessed today was not merely a human defeating a Veltharan. That could be explained by luck or Commander Neveler having a poor day. What we witnessed was a human effortlessly overwhelming one of our finest warriors. The analyst's reports are disturbing." Captain Dalron clicked his mandibles. "I have reviewed the data. Lieutenant Hyunwoo's reaction time measured 40% faster than coalition average. His movement speed in 0.8 gravity suggests he was barely exerting himself. His oxygen consumption remained efficient throughout despite explosive activity. His pattern recognition exceeded our AI predictions. A Luminar counselor named Velmara pulsed with concerned yellow light. "What does this mean for coalition security? Our protocols assume intruders will move at expected speeds. If all humans possess such capabilities, then our security systems are obsolete," Admiral Kevris finished bluntly. "A human operative could theoretically infiltrate most coalition facilities. We have no countermeasures for this level of speed and endurance." Dr. Jiwoo had been invited to the meeting as the station's human biology expert. She stood to address the room, her datapad connected to the main display screen. "With respect, I believe you are all missing the larger context. What Lieutenant Hyunwoo demonstrated today is not unusual for humans. It is normal." "May I explain?" Kevris gestured with 2 of his arms. "Please, we need to understand this." Jiwoo brought up an image of Earth on the main screen. The blue and green planet rotated slowly. "This is Earth, officially classified as Deathworld Prime in Coalition databases. Most of you have seen this classification, but I do not think you understand what it truly means." She advanced to the next slide, showing Earth's gravity measurement. Earth gravity is 1 full standard. This is higher than 95% of Coalition worlds. Higher gravity requires stronger bones, denser muscles, more powerful hearts. From birth, every human carries weights that would crush many of your species. The next slide showed atmospheric composition. Earth's atmosphere contains 21% oxygen. Most coalition species evolved with 14 to 16%. This extra oxygen allows humans to sustain high-energy activity for extended periods. "What seems like impossible endurance to you is normal for us." Velmara pulsed with curious light. "But surely evolutionary pressure alone cannot account for such extreme capabilities." "You would be correct," Jiwoo said, "if Earth had normal evolutionary pressures. But Earth does not." The screen changed to show images of Earth wildlife.
Lions hunting in packs.
Crocodiles lurking in rivers. Bears standing 9 feet tall. Sharks patrolling oceans. Venomous snakes hidden in grass. Tigers stalking through jungles. The alien officials stared at the images in visible horror. Each creature looked designed purely for killing. Teeth, claws, venom, raw strength. Many were larger than the aliens in the room. "These are Earth's predators," Jiwoo explained. "Humans share our world with thousands of species that can kill us. Every day for millions of years, our ancestors had to outrun, outsmart, or outlast creatures like these. The slow ones died. The weak ones died. The stupid ones died. Only the fastest, smartest, strongest humans survived to have children." Officer Taman, who had also been invited to the meeting, spoke up. His earlier arrogance was gone, replaced by genuine concern. "How did your species survive at all?" "Persistence," Jiwoo answered. "Humans are persistence hunters. We cannot outrun a deer in a sprint, so we chase it for hours until it collapses from exhaustion. We cannot overpower a bear, so we use tools and teamwork. We cannot survive alone, so we form complex social groups. Earth forced us to develop every advantage we could." She pulled up medical statistics. Before modern medicine, only 60% of humans reached adulthood. The mortality rate for children was staggering. Disease, predators, environmental hazards, accidents. Earth killed us constantly. For 200,000 years, only the best of us survived. That is natural selection at its most brutal. Admiral Kevris shifted in his seat. You are saying humans are products of warfare against their own planet? Yes, Jiwoo confirmed. And that warfare never stopped. Even now, Earth regularly experiences storms that could destroy coalition settlements. Earthquakes that crack continents. Temperature swings that would kill most species. We built our entire civilization while fighting our own world. The room fell silent as the implications settled. These were not conquerors from a militant empire. These were survivors from a planet that made survival almost impossible. Captain Dalron spoke carefully. I begin to understand why humans sought to join the coalition. After surviving Earth, you must crave peace. Exactly, Jiwoo said softly. We are tired of fighting. We spent millions of years fighting to survive, then thousands of years fighting each other. When we reached the stars and found the coalition, we saw something we had never had before. The possibility of true peace. Counselor Velmara pulsed thoughtfully. But if humans possess such advantages, what prevents them from dominating the coalition by force? Before Jiwoo could answer, Commander Nevler entered the conference room. He had requested permission to attend after the meeting had started. His crystalline face showed determination. I fought Lieutenant Hyunwoo, Nevler said. I felt his speed, his control, his efficiency, but I also felt his restraint. He could have hurt me badly at any moment. The training weapons we used had enough power to break bones if swung at full force. The human never struck me with anything close to full force. Nevler moved to stand beside Jiwoo. I have meditated on this. Humans are dangerous, yes, but they are not cruel. The lieutenant defeated me with minimum necessary force. He showed respect for my skill even while overwhelming me. A species that wanted domination would not behave this way. Admiral Kevris considered this. You believe humans can be trusted? I believe humans understand violence in ways we do not, Nevler replied. They know its cost. They know its consequences. That is why they seek to avoid it. The Admiral looked around the room at the gathered officials. This discussion must be shared with the coalition leadership. We need new protocols, new understanding. But I agree with Commander Nevler. Humans are not our enemies. They are perhaps the allies we need but never knew we were missing. Later that evening, Nevler found Hyunwoo in one of the station's observation lounges. Velros Prime rotated slowly below them. Its gentle storms and peaceful oceans visible from orbit. It was a beautiful world, safe and nurturing. Nothing like Earth. Your world made you what you are, Nevler said, sitting down beside the human. I thought I understood what Deathworld meant. I thought it was just environmental classification. I did not understand it meant your entire species was forged in constant danger. Hyunwoo looked at the planet below. Most coalition worlds are like this. Peaceful, safe. Your evolution was guided by cooperation and intelligence, not survival against impossible odds. I am grateful you survived to reach the stars, Nevlar said. But I confess I'm also concerned. A species with your capabilities could dominate the coalition if you chose. We will not, Hyunwoo promised. Earth taught us how to survive, Commander, but it also taught us the cost of endless conflict. We came to the stars looking for something better. We found it here. Nevler's colors shifted to respectful blue. Then we are fortunate. The galaxy needs survivors who choose cooperation over domination. They sat together in silence, watching the peaceful world turn below, both understanding that the galaxy had changed. The Deathworlders had arrived, and nothing would ever be quite the same. Commander Nevlar stood in the center of the arena, his forearms adjusting his grip on the energy staff. His crystalline face cycled through colors that indicated deep thought. Around them, the observation deck remained eerily silent. 500 aliens held their collective breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Toresh, the Luminar referee, pulsed with soft blue light. Reset positions. Continue when ready. Nevlar moved differently now. The casual confidence was gone. He approached Hyunwoo with the wariness of someone who had just touched a live wire. His forearms created an intricate defensive web, the staff passing between his hands in a pattern meant to leave no openings. This was smarter tactics. Nevlar was a skilled warrior, not a fool. He had adapted immediately to the threat. His three eyes tracked Hyunwoo's every movement. The Veltheran circled slowly, forcing the human to commit first. Hyunwoo watched and waited. He could see Nevlar's breathing had quickened slightly. The first exchange had cost the Veltheran his mental balance. In combat, mental state mattered as much as physical ability. Nevlar struck first this time, a probing attack with two arms while the other two maintained defense. It was a disciplined approach, testing the human's reactions. Hyunwoo blocked easily, his staff meeting Nevlar's with a sharp crack of energy. They exchanged several strikes. Nevlar's superior reach should have given him an advantage. His four arms let him attack from multiple angles simultaneously, but Hyunwoo was never where the Veltheran expected. He ducked under a strike that should have connected. He sidestepped a sweep that should have caught his legs. His footwork turned the flat arena into a three-dimensional space. In the observation deck, a Morphean medical officer named Hellsoth watched with clinical fascination. "Look at the human's breathing," Hellsoth said to his colleague. "It has not changed at all. His heart rate must be barely elevated." The colleague, a crystalline being from the Rikstar system, checked her medical scanner pointed at the arena. "You are correct. His pulse is only 105 beats per minute. For the level of activity he is showing, that is impossibly low." "What about the Veltheran?" Hellsoth asked. "Commander Nevlar's pulse is 160 and climbing. His oxygen consumption has increased by 40%. Below them, Nevlar launched a combination attack. He used all four arms in a coordinated assault, the staff spinning in complex patterns while his free hands reached for grappling holds. It was a technique that had won him championships on 3 worlds. Hyunwoo dropped low and swept Nevlar's front leg. The taller alien stumbled, his perfect balance disrupted by Earth's heavier gravity expressed through human muscle. As Nevlar fell forward, Hyunwoo's staff came up and tapped his shoulder. The arena system chimed again. Second touch. Lieutenant Hyunwoo. Time, 41 seconds total. The observation deck erupted in shocked chatter. Aliens stood up from their seats arguing with each other. The betting pools froze as gamblers tried to understand what they were witnessing. This was not supposed to be possible. Veltherans did not lose to two-armed species. They certainly did not lose to species who were shorter and lighter than themselves. Captain Dalaron's compound eyes reflected the arena lights in a pattern that indicated deep surprise. "By the old stars," he clicked in his native language. "The human is playing with him." Officer Taemin stood at the observation rail, his crystalline hands gripping the barrier so hard it began to crack. "How?" he whispered. "How is this possible?" Dr. Jiwoo stepped beside him and showed him her datapad. "This is why," she said, her voice carrying more satisfaction than she intended. "Earth gravity 1 standard. Velros gravity 0.7 standard. Earth atmospheric oxygen 21%. Velros atmospheric oxygen 14%. Earth evolutionary pressures extreme. Velros evolutionary pressures minimal." Taemin stared at the numbers. "But these are just statistics. Numbers on a screen." "No," Jiwoo corrected him. "These are millions of years of evolution. Every number represents countless generations of survival or death. Humans who were slow got eaten by predators. Humans who tired easily starved to death. Humans who could not react quickly enough did not survive to have children. For 200,000 years, Earth filtered our species through the finest survival crucible in known space. What you see down there is the result." In the arena, Nevlar had changed his stance entirely. All four arms gripped his staff now, holding it like a barrier between himself and Hyunwoo. His eyes tracked the human with the wariness of prey watching a predator. "You are faster than any species I have encountered," Nevlar said, his voice translated by the arena's speakers so everyone could hear. "Much faster." Hyunwoo twirled his staff once casually. "I am average for a human soldier." The observation deck went silent at those words. Average. This terrifying speed that had overwhelmed a Veltheran champion was average for humans. The implication spread through the crowd like ice water. "If this is average," a small Pelix trader whispered to his companion, "what must their elite warriors be like?" Nevlar processed this information. His tactical mind was already calculating. If the human was average, then Earth's military likely had soldiers far more dangerous than Lieutenant Hyunwoo. The thought was deeply disturbing, but Nevlar was still a warrior. He made his decision and attacked. This time he abandoned technique in favor of raw power. He used his superior strength to deliver heavy strikes, trying to batter through Hyunwoo's defense rather than outmaneuver him. Each swing of his staff carried enough force to crack bone if it landed solidly. It was the right strategy. If Nevlar could land a clean hit, his greater strength could turn the tide. One solid strike might stun the human long enough for a second and third touch, but Hyunwoo did not try to block the heavy strikes. He evaded them. The staff passed millimeters from his head as he leaned back. It missed his ribs by a finger's width as he twisted sideways. He let each powerful blow expend itself against empty air, using Nevlar's momentum against him. The Veltharan was breathing hard now. The thin oxygen in the arena, perfect for most coalition species, was not enough for his exertion level. His movements began to slow. Not much, but enough. Hyunwoo saw the moment. Nevlar overcommitted to a downward strike, putting all four arms and his full body weight behind it. The human sidestepped smoothly and moved into the opening. For a frozen moment, they stood locked. Hyunwoo's staff pressed against Nevlar's neck. The Veltharan's staff was buried into the arena floor from his missed strike, all four of his arms extended and off balance. The arena system chimed a third time. Third touch. Lieutenant Hyunwoo wins. Total match time, 97 seconds. Toresh floated forward, his crystalline body pulsing. The duel is concluded. Victory to Lieutenant Hyunwoo of Earth. The observation deck exploded into noise. Aliens shouted in dozens of languages. Some demanded to see replays. Others argued about whether the human had cheated somehow. A few sat in stunned silence, processing what they had just witnessed. Hyunwoo stepped back and lowered his staff. He bowed to Nevlar in the Korean military fashion. "Thank you for the match, Commander. Your technique is excellent." Nevlar straightened slowly. His crystalline face had gone pale blue, a Veltharan expression of deep respect mixed with shock. He performed a formal bow, all four arms crossed over his chest in the highest gesture of acknowledgement his people had. "I have trained for 60 years, Nevlar said quietly, his voice not broadcast to the observation deck. "I have studied 17 martial disciplines from across the Coalition. I have fought on 4 worlds and in 7 war zones. And I have never faced anything like you, Lieutenant." "Your skill is real, Commander," Hyunwoo replied. "On your homeworld in full Veltharan gravity, you would have significant advantages." "Perhaps," Nevlar acknowledged, "but we do not fight only on our home worlds. The galaxy is large and humans are now part of it." The Veltharan commander looked up at the observation deck, where hundreds of aliens still argued and processed. "They do not understand yet, do they? What your species truly represents?" Hyunwoo followed his gaze. "No. They think Deathworld is just a classification in a database. They have never lived on a planet that actively tried to kill them every day. We will need to change that understanding," Nevlar said, "for everyone's sake." News of the duel spread through the Concordia station like fire through dry grass. By morning, every species in the Coalition knew about the challenge. Aliens gathered in groups to discuss it. Betting pools formed with overwhelming odds favoring Commander Nevlar. Some bets were as extreme as 50-1 against the human. In the cafeteria, Hyunwoo ate breakfast while aliens stared at him. A group of Churex officers clicked their mandibles together, which was how they laughed. 2 luminar beings, creatures made of glowing energy, floated past his table and their light pulsed in what might have been amusement. Even the normally polite Morphean medical staff gave him pitying looks. Dr. Jiwoo joined him with a data pad full of information. "I have been researching all night," she said, keeping her voice low. "The problem is that most Coalition species evolved on safe worlds. Velros Prime, the Veltharan homeworld, has no large predators. Their biggest threat was other Veltharans competing for resources. They never developed fight-or-flight reflexes like we did." "What about their physical advantages?" Hyunwoo asked, eating his rice calmly. "Their forearms give them an obvious edge in close combat. Their crystalline skin is tougher than human skin. Like natural armor, they are stronger than us in raw power. But Hyunwoo, their reaction speed is considered above average for Coalition species. Do you know what that means?" "Tell me." "It means they react in about 0.25 seconds to unexpected stimuli. Humans average 0.15 seconds. We are nearly twice as fast, and that is just average humans. I checked your military records. Your reaction time is 0.11 seconds. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. He had never thought of his reflexes as special. Every soldier he trained with had similar speeds. It was just normal. Jiwoo continued, her excitement growing. And the gravity. Hyunwoo, Earth's gravity is 1 full standard. Most Coalition worlds range from 0.6 to 0.9. The Veltharan homeworld is point 7. The duel will be at point 8, which they consider heavy. For you it will feel light. What about endurance? There is no comparison. I looked at the data. The longest a Veltharan warrior can maintain combat intensity is about 12 minutes before fatigue sets in. Humans can fight at high intensity for over an hour. We evolved to chase prey across entire continents. We are persistence hunters, Hyunwoo. We are built to outlast everything. Other humans started gathering at nearby tables drawn by Jiwoo's passionate explanation. There were only 30 humans stationed on the Concordia, and they all felt the weight of this duel. If Hyunwoo lost badly, it would confirm every alien prejudice about humanity being weak newcomers. Captain Dalron, a Chirex officer and Hyunwoo's direct commander, approached the table. His insect-like body moved on 6 legs and his compound eyes reflected light in strange patterns. Dalron was fair-minded, one of the few aliens who treated humans as equals. "Lieutenant," Dalron said, his voice translated through a small device on his thorax, "I wanted to wish you luck. Fight with honor, and no one will think less of you regardless of the outcome." "Thank you, sir," Hyunwoo replied, but both of them knew that was not quite true. Results mattered in the military, even in friendly duels. As midday approached, Hyunwoo went to the training center early. He did not practice or warm up extensively. Instead, he meditated quietly in a side room. He thought about his training back on Earth, the countless hours in the military academy, the drills that had seemed so hard at the time, running up mountains with heavy packs, fighting in thin air at high altitudes, reacting to simulated ambushes, again and again until his body moved before his mind could think. He had not realized those drills were making him into something the galaxy had never seen before. The arena began to fill an hour before the duel. The observation deck above the training floor could hold 500 beings, and every space was taken. Aliens of dozens of species crowded together, talking in their various languages. Translators struggled to keep up with the noise. Hyunwoo entered the arena floor and saw Commander Nevlar already there, performing elaborate stretching routines. The Veltharan's forearms moved in synchronized patterns, flowing through forms that were beautiful to watch. His crystalline skin caught the light and threw blue-white reflections across the walls. He looked powerful, graceful, and completely confident. Hyunwoo did simple stretches. He touched his toes. He rolled his shoulders. He did a few quick knee bends. In the observation deck, he heard some aliens laugh at the contrast. The mighty Veltharan performing ancient warrior rituals. The small human doing basic exercises. Officer Tae-min stood at the front rail of the observation deck, his crystalline face glowing with satisfaction. "This will be educational," he said loudly enough for others to hear. "The human will learn respect for Veltharan combat arts." The referee floated to the center of the arena. Toresh was a luminar, a being of pure energy contained in a crystalline form. Light pulsed through his body as he spoke. "The rules are simple. Non-lethal energy staffs. First to 3 confirmed touches wins. The staffs will register contact and deliver a mild shock. The arena gravity is set to .8 standard. Are both fighters ready?" Nevlar bowed formally, all 4 arms crossed over his chest. "I am ready." Hyunwoo bowed in the Korean military style, hands at his sides. "Ready." Toresh handed them each a staff. The weapons were about 6 feet long, made of a lightweight metal core surrounded by an energy field. They would not cause serious injury, but a solid hit would hurt and register on the arena's scoring system. The 2 fighters moved to opposite sides of the arena. Hyunwoo held his staff in a relaxed grip. Across from him, Nevlar's 4 arms positioned his staff in a complex defensive pattern, with 2 arms free to grapple or strike. In the observation deck, Jiwoo gripped the railing. Around her, hundreds of aliens leaned forward. The noise died down to silence. Everyone wanted to see what would happen when Deathworlder met civilized warrior. Toresh's crystalline body flashed bright white. "Begin!" Nevlar advanced with perfect form. His footwork was textbook, his 4 arms creating a defensive web that should have been impossible to penetrate. He moved like water, smooth and controlled. Hyunwoo exploded forward. The human crossed the distance between them so fast that several aliens gasped. Nevlar barely registered the movement before Hyunwoo was inside his guard. The Veltharan tried to bring 2 arms down to block, but the human had already pivoted. Hyunwoo's staff blurred through the air and tapped Nevlar's midsection. The arena's system chimed loudly. A holographic display appeared in the air. First touch. Lieutenant Hyunwoo. Time, 2.3 seconds. Complete silence filled the observation deck. 500 aliens stared in disbelief. Nevler stumbled backward, his three eyes wide with shock. His crystalline face showed confusion, an expression Veltheran warriors rarely displayed in combat. Hyunwoo returned to his starting position, staff held ready. His breathing was calm and steady. He looked exactly the same as before the touch, as if he had barely moved at all. In the observation deck, Officer Taemin's confident expression had vanished. "What? How did he move so fast?" he whispered. Dr. Jiwoo smiled grimly. She pulled up Earth's classification data on her portable screen and highlighted a section. The title read, "Evolutionary Pressures on Deathworld Prime Sapiens." The aliens around her were too shocked to notice. They were all staring at the human in the arena below, finally beginning to understand that they had made a terrible miscalculation about Earth and its people. The massive space station called Concordia floated in the darkness above Velros Prime. Inside its metal halls, thousands of aliens from different worlds worked together. They were all part of the Galactic Peacekeeping Coalition, a group that kept peace across the stars. The station had tall ceilings and wide corridors built to fit species of all shapes and sizes. Lieutenant Hyunwoo walked through the training center, his boots making soft sounds on the smooth floor. He was human, which meant he was still new to most aliens here. Humans had only joined the galaxy 15 years ago. Most species in the coalition had been traveling space for thousands of years. Hyunwoo was shorter than many aliens around him, with dark hair and a compact build. He wore the standard Peacekeeper uniform, but the human version fit differently than the ones made for four-armed Veltherans or insect-like Chireks. Today was a joint training exercise. Hyunwoo stood in the observation area above the combat simulation floor. Below him, a group of Veltharan warriors performed complex fighting moves. Veltharans were tall beings with skin that looked like blue crystal. They had 4 arms and moved with careful grace. Their leader, Commander Nevlar, stood 7 feet tall. His crystalline face reflected the bright lights as he demonstrated a defensive technique, using all 4 arms at once. The other observers watched with respect. Veltharans were famous across the galaxy as elite warriors. Their fighting techniques were taught in military academies on dozens of worlds. Hyunwoo studied their movements carefully. He noticed something in their formation. There was a gap in their defense pattern, a small weakness when they transitioned between positions. He leaned toward the communication panel. "Excuse me, Commander Nevlar. I noticed the left flank becomes exposed during the rotation. Perhaps if the third position moved 2 steps closer, it would cover that gap." The training floor went quiet. Nevlar turned his 3 eyes toward the observation deck. Around the room, other aliens shifted uncomfortably. A junior Veltharan officer named Taemin stepped forward. His crystalline skin glowed with barely hidden irritation. "The human offers tactics?" Taemin said, his voice carrying easily through the speakers. "Perhaps Lieutenant Hyunwoo does not understand that this formation has been perfected over centuries. We appreciate the enthusiasm, but humans are still learning basic combat theory." Polite laughter rippled through the observation deck. Hyunwoo felt the sting but kept his face neutral. This was not the first time aliens had dismissed human input. Earth was classified as a death world in the Coalition database, but most species thought it was just an academic label. They did not understand what it really meant. Commander Nevlar raised one hand, silencing the room. "Officer Taemin speaks hastily," he said, though his tone suggested agreement. "However, he raises a fair question. Humans are new to the Coalition. They have never fought in galactic conflicts. Theory and practice are very different things." Nevlar's 3 eyes studied Hyunwoo for a long moment. The commander was not cruel, but he was proud. The Veltharan warrior caste had never lost their reputation as the finest fighters in the Coalition. Letting a human's suggestion go unchallenged might seem like weakness. "Perhaps," Nevlar continued, "Lieutenant Hyunwoo would benefit from practical demonstration. I propose a friendly duel, tomorrow, in this arena. We use training weapons, standard Peacekeeper rules. First to 3 touches wins. It would be educational for both our species." The room erupted in excited chatter. Aliens of all types began talking at once. A friendly duel between a Veltharan commander and a human would be entertaining. Most had never seen a human fight before. Betting pools would form within the hour. Hyunwoo understood the trap immediately. If he refused, it would confirm that humans were weak and inexperienced. Every human in the coalition would suffer from that perception. But if he accepted and lost badly, the result would be the same. There was really only one choice. "I accept, Commander," Hyunwoo said clearly. "Tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for the opportunity to learn." Nevler nodded, satisfied. "Excellent. We shall make it a proper exhibition. All Peacekeeper personnel are welcome to observe." As the training session ended, Hyunwoo left the observation deck. In the corridor outside, he found his friend Dr. Jiwoo waiting. She was a human xenobiologist who studied alien life forms. Her face showed concern. "That was foolish," Jiwoo said as they walked together. "Nevler is a decorated warrior. He has 60 years of training. Veltharans are stronger than humans and they have 4 arms. How are you supposed to win?" "I do not know if I can win," Hyunwoo admitted. "But I have to try. If I had refused, every human in the coalition would have paid the price." Jiwoo sighed. "I have been studying Veltharan physiology. They are strong, yes, but their homeworld has lighter gravity than Earth. About 0.7 of our standard. Their atmospheric oxygen is lower too. They evolved on a peaceful world with few predators." "What does that mean?" Hyunwoo asked. "It means they have never needed to be as fast as us, or as durable, or as persistent. Earth is classified as a death world for a reason, Hyunwoo. Our planet tried to kill us every single day for millions of years. We evolved to survive that. These aliens did not." They reached Hyunwoo's quarters. Inside, he sat on his bunk and pulled up information about Veltharan combat styles on his datapad. Jiwoo was right about the gravity difference. The duel would be held at 0.8 standard gravity, which was considered neutral ground. For Hyunwoo, that would feel light. For Nevler, it would feel heavy. That night, Hyunwoo called his sister Youngmi back on Earth. The transmission delay was several seconds, but eventually her face appeared on the screen. She was a combat instructor for the Korean Special Forces, tough and practical. "Big brother," she said with a smile. "You look worried." "What happened?" He explained the situation. Youngmi listened carefully, then laughed. "These aliens have never had to run from a tiger, have they? They do not know what it means to be human." "What should I do?" Hyunwoo asked. "Do not hold back," Youngmi said seriously. "Not even at the start. Show them immediately what a Deathworlder really is. Make them understand in the first 3 seconds, or they never will." After the call ended, Hyunwoo lay in his bunk and thought about Earth. He thought about the gravity that had shaped human bones into dense, strong structures. He thought about the oxygen-rich atmosphere that let humans run for hours without stopping. He thought about the predators that had chased his ancestors across ancient plains, forcing them to become faster, smarter, more enduring than any animal that hunted them. Tomorrow the galaxy would learn what those millions of years of survival had created. Hyunwoo closed his eyes and slept peacefully. He did not need to train for this duel. Earth had already trained him. Every human carried that training in their genes, in their muscles, in their reflexes. Tomorrow, he would simply let that training show. 3 weeks after the duel, the Concordia station had changed in subtle but important ways. The changes started with security protocols. The station's AI systems, which had tracked movement patterns for decades, were being completely reprogrammed. Engineer teams worked around the clock to update sensors that could now account for human speed threats. In the main security office, Chief Tekvar, a 6-armed Hexian, reviewed the new protocols with frustration. The detection systems were designed for coalition standard movement. Humans move 40% faster than our highest estimates. We have had to reduce response thresholds significantly. His assistant, a young Pelix named Rintal, looked worried. "Will the new systems accidentally flag humans as threats?" "No," Tekvar replied. "We are teaching the AI to recognize human movement patterns as normal." "But Rintal, do you understand what this means? For 15 years, any human could have walked into our most secure areas, and our sensors would have been too slow to stop them." "But no human did," Rintal pointed out. They could have, but they chose not to. Tekvar's 6 arms made a gesture of agreement. That is the only reason we are having this conversation instead of a crisis. Across the station, other changes were happening. In the medical bay, Dr. Helsoth supervised the installation of new equipment designed specifically for human physiology. The Morphean doctor's slug-like body rippled as he examined the specifications. Fascinating and terrifying, Helsoth said to his assistant. Human blood pressure would kill 3 coalition species instantly. Their bone density registers as armor plating on standard scanners. Their immune systems attack foreign bodies so aggressively that our normal medical treatments can trigger dangerous reactions. The assistant checked her data pad. Should we be concerned about treating humans? Concerned? No, careful. Absolutely. Helsoth pulled up a medical scan of Hyunwoo from his post-duel checkup. Look at this. The human's heart is a muscle so powerful it would be classified as industrial equipment on some worlds. His bones contain metal compounds we only find in construction materials. And his nervous system processes information faster than our medical scanners can track. They really are built differently, the assistant whispered. They are built to survive what would kill us. Helsoth corrected. We must remember that when treating them. The most visible change came in the form of new training programs. Admiral Kevris had requested human military advisors to teach coalition forces how to face opponents with human-level capabilities. The first instructor to arrive was Sergeant Bora, a compact woman with short hair and the same quiet confidence that Hyunwoo possessed. Her first class had 200 coalition soldiers from a dozen species. They gathered in the main training hall, curious and nervous. Bora stood at the front looking small compared to the tall Veltherans and massive Hexians. I am here to teach you how to fight humans, Bora began, her translator rendering her words in multiple languages. The first lesson is simple. You cannot outrun us. She gestured to a volunteer, a Veltheran officer named Karlon. You are fast by coalition standards. Run to that wall and back. As fast as you can, Karlon ran. He covered the distance in what seemed like impressive time, his forearms pumping for balance. The timer showed 8.2 seconds. Good speed, Bora said. Then she ran the same distance. The timer showed 5.1 seconds. Gasps rippled through the crowd. You cannot outrun us, Bora repeated. So do not try. Instead, learn to predict where we will be. Humans are fast, but we are not unpredictable. We follow patterns based on efficiency and tactical advantage. Learn those patterns. Over the following days, Bora taught coalition soldiers techniques that had never been needed before. How to set up defensive positions that accounted for extreme mobility. How to use terrain to slow fast opponents. How to work in teams to cover areas too large for any single soldier to defend. Officer Tae-min attended every session. His earlier dismissal of humans had transformed into intense respect and desire to understand. After one session, he approached Bora with a question. Sergeant, you move like Lieutenant Hyunwoo. Same speed, same efficiency. Is every human soldier like this? Bora considered the question. Hyunwoo and I are average infantry. There are special forces soldiers who make us look slow, and there are civilians who are faster than both of us. Human capability ranges widely, but yes, most of us can move at speeds that surprise coalition species. Taemin's crystalline face showed something like fear. How did the galaxy survive first contact with humans? Because we made contact peacefully, Bora replied. We came asking to join, not to conquer. That choice defined everything that followed. Admiral Kevris, recognizing the opportunity humans represented, proposed something unprecedented. The coalition would establish a rapid response unit for crisis situations. Hostage rescues, natural disaster response, counter-piracy operations, anything requiring speed and endurance. He wanted humans to lead it. Hyunwoo was called to the Admiral's office to discuss the proposal. Nevler was already there, standing at attention. Lieutenant, Kevris began, your duel demonstrated capabilities the coalition lacks. We have strength, we have technology, we have numbers. But we do not have speed. We do not have endurance. We do not have the kind of rapid response capability that humans possess naturally. You want a human strike team? Hyunwoo said. No. Kevris corrected. I want a mixed species strike team led by humans. Your people provide speed and endurance. Veltherans provide strength and durability. Chireks provide sensory capabilities. Luminar provide energy manipulation. Morpheans provide medical support. Together we create something none of us could achieve alone. Nevler spoke up. I have requested to serve in this unit, Lieutenant. I believe I can learn much from working alongside your people. Hyunwoo looked between them. This is why we joined the coalition. To contribute. To be part of something larger. I accept, but I want to choose my own team. Mixed species, like you said. We are better together. Agreed, Kevra said with satisfaction. Select your team. Train them. When the galaxy needs rapid response, you will be ready. Over the next month, Hyunwoo assembled his team. He chose carefully, looking for coalition soldiers who showed adaptability and open-mindedness. Nevlar became his second in command. Officer Taemin, humbled by his earlier prejudice, requested to join and was accepted. A young Chirek scout named Pixtal brought incredible sensory abilities. A Luminar named Shenra could manipulate energy fields in ways that complemented human speed. They trained together every day. At first, the non-human team members struggled to adapt to human-pace operations. But gradually, they learned. They learned to predict where Hyunwoo would be before he got there. They learned to use their own strengths to support human weaknesses. They learned to trust each other. The team's first real deployment came sooner than expected. A research station on the volcanic moon of Trelnar had sent a distress signal. A volcanic eruption had trapped 30 scientists inside a collapsing facility. The atmosphere was toxic, the temperature extreme, and the structure could collapse completely at any moment. Standard coalition rescue teams would take hours to prepare. Hyunwoo's team launched within 15 minutes. The dropship approached the moon through clouds of volcanic ash. Inside, the team prepared. Hyunwoo checked his equipment while Nevlar coordinated with the trapped scientists. Taemin monitored structural integrity data. Pixtal's compound eyes scanned for heat signatures through the smoke. The building will collapse in 30 minutes, Taemin reported. Maybe less. Then we have 30 minutes, Hyunwoo said calmly. Standard extraction pattern. Nevlar, you move debris. Taemin, you guide civilians out. Pixtal, you find anyone we miss. Shenra, you stabilize the structure as long as possible. I will go deepest and work back. They landed in the center of chaos. Volcanic ash fell like black snow. The research station groaned and shifted, its supports buckling under seismic stress. The temperature was high enough to kill most coalition species in minutes. Hyunwoo ran into the smoke without hesitation. His human lungs, designed to extract oxygen from Earth's varied atmosphere, processed the thin, toxic air adequately with his respirator. His heat resistance, evolved under Earth's punishing sun, let him move through temperatures that would have stopped others. He found the first group of scientists huddled in a collapsing corridor. They were Pelix researchers, small and fragile. Follow me, Hyunwoo said, leading them toward safety. He moved fast, but not so fast they could not follow. Behind him, Nevlar used his forearms and Veltheran strength to lift a fallen beam that blocked an exit. Taemin guided a group of panicking civilians through the smoke. Pixtal's incredible vision spotted 2 scientists trapped in a side room that everyone else had missed. Shenra, the Luminar, used energy fields to hold up a section of ceiling that wanted to collapse. The strain showed in the flickering of their light, but they held. The rescue took 28 minutes. All 30 scientists were evacuated safely. As the last person boarded the dropship, the research station collapsed completely, disappearing into volcanic ash and fire. The rescue made galactic news. Coalition strike team saves all lives in impossible rescue, read the headlines.